What is going on, you guys? You had some pretty interesting, tasty feedback on my World 15 team. Well, let's see how you're going to like my global bomb squad. Let's jump right in here. I'm going to pick Thomas Tutoy from South Africa. He's my tight head. He can play both sides of the scrum. He was certainly a contender to be in the starting team. I'm sure he was in a lot of people's starting 15. But for me, good starter can also make impact off the bench and just really solidify the set-piece battle if it's a tight game. The other prop I'm going to pick, I know this is going to get some blowback, Alice Genge from England. Now, importantly, not my starter, bomb squad member. You look at what he did for the British and Irish Lions coming off the bench. His mobility as a prop is unbelievable. He's up there in that class of guys like Samisoni Takiaho from New Zealand, the hooker. Front rowers who can just be so destructive with ball in hand and surprisingly mobile. I think unleashing him against a tiring defense could do wonders. Now, backup hooker was really hard. Cody Taylor, of course, is such a great player for New Zealand. But I tried to take off the Southern Hemisphere bias, look beyond him, look beyond the South African backups, and I actually settled on Dan Sheehan from Ireland. Obviously, he's captained the team, great leader, still has such a huge career ahead of him. I just think there's a set-piece stability and yet also some real explosiveness. This guy loves to score a try, knows his way to the try line, knows how to run a good support line, so he almost looks like an extra loose forward out there at times, and that's going to be important in my team. Now, I am looking for some rampant impact coming off the bench. What I am going to do is go with Pieter-Steph du Toit. Probably should have been starting in the 7 jersey. I just gave the edge to Ardie Savea, but he has to be on the bench. This guy could seal off a game if he comes on for the last 30 minutes. Yes, he's a 7, but he could play at lock, so he's actually covering that position also. I want another Lucy out here, someone who's going to make an impact off the bench, and I considered a lot of names. I mean, Ben Earl, I thought might be my starting 8, and yet he's not even in my squad because I am going to go with Tom Curry from England. I just think when he comes on the field, he really knows how to hit the breakdown and change a game. And you actually look at what he did against the All Blacks at Twickenham a couple weeks back, coming off the bench. Normally he's a starter, but coming off the bench, he was just scintillating. So he's going to be out there for me. And then I am going to go with Andre Esterhuizen. Now, here's the thing. Is this really a 5-3 split or a 6-2 split? We'll see. Esterhuizen can play in midfield. He can also be a Lucy. So, you know what? He gives that versatility. This guy's a Swiss Army pocket knife of a player. And I think that he's just got to be out there for his impact with ball in hand. So just 2 pure dedicated backs here. I am going to go with Kobus Reinach as my backup halfback. Grant Williams was tempting too for South Africa, but the way that Reinach just scampers around the ruck and really targets any gaps in that kind of pillar defense around the breakdown, that's just worth its weight in gold. You know, as you get to the end of a game, a defense is tiring. I think that running game of his is tremendous as an asset, which is to say nothing of his kicking game and his passing game, which are not just adequate, but very good. Then I am going to go with Damian McKenzie from New Zealand. Look no further than his performance against Scotland, saving New Zealand blushes. That is probably the most impactful bench performance I've ever seen from a New Zealand back. There have always been question marks about him starting at 10. Can he manage the game? Does he have just, you know, the pure basics down? We know he can do the flair. We know he's mercurial. Does he just have the basics of managing a test match down cold? Signs that he has grown in that department, but what no one is questioning is his ability as a super sub. He can rip through a tiring defense like no other, so he has to be in my squad. All right, guys, let me know what you think of my global bomb squad. If you noticed out the window, I am in Las Vegas. I'm about to head to Australia to spend time with my family. It is my birthday. It is a milestone birthday coming up on December 16th, so looking forward to that. But just having a bit of a recharge and a chill, and it's been good just to reflect on life, changes in my life, and reflect on the game that they play in heaven also. I've been thinking a lot about World Rugby, where it's going, and one thing I can say for sure is that 2026 is going to be one of the best years ever. That Nations Championship is very exciting, gives a bit more sting to some of these North versus South fixtures that maybe needed a little bit of a format reset. And then, of course, the crown jewel of the year is definitely going to be the All Blacks tour of South Africa. Can't wait. But I'll have more content coming for you in December as we break down and metabolize the year that was and think about what that means for 2026. Send this video to someone who loves rugby, like, subscribe, and I'll be back for another one real soon. Take it easy, guys. Bye for now.